Well, so far this month we've been doing relatively older horror movies, but today we're going to look at a pretty new one, as today at Channel Point's request of Blade, we're going to look at Scream, released in 2022. It is the fifth Scream movie, but it's just called Scream, much like the first Scream movie, which is a really fucking annoying trend that I would like to stop. This film was directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gellert, and the first film to not be directed by Wes Craven after he died in 2015. Usually I'd be kinda not okay with that, but Craven apparently had originally intended to make a fifth film anyway, so I guess it's fine. Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, David Arquette all return in this film as their roles of Sidney Prescott, Gale Weathers, and Dewey Riley respectively. Marley Shelton also returns as Judy Hicks from Scream 4, and Roger L. Jackson once again does the voice of Ghostface. But we also have a bunch of new cast members, including Melissa Barea, Jack Quaid, Mickey Madsen, Jenna Ortega, Dylan Minin, Jasmine Savory Brown, Mason Gooding, and Sonia Amar. And that's cause in this film, which takes place 25 years after the original, a young girl named Tara is attacked by the Ghostface killer. Her older sister Sam comes to help solve the mystery, and eventually, of course, Sidney, Dewey, and Gale end up getting involved. Also, to keep with a running theme here, several versions of the screenplay were made, and there was also several additional scenes filmed to avoid any plot leaks, which has been a major problem throughout this franchise's history. And this film did pretty well with critics, getting positive reviews, and on a budget of $24 million, it made back $140 million. And while that's a pretty solid number, it still only makes for the fourth most successful movie in the franchise money-wise, only beating out Scream 4. But did it beat out Scream 4 in terms of quality? Well, we're gonna find out right now as we look at Scream, released in 2022. So our film begins in the house of high school student Tara Carpenter, who's home alone and waiting for her best friend Amber to come over. She then gets a call from someone initially posing as a member of her mother's support group. That person then reveals that he knows her name, and yep, wouldn't you know it, it's the Ghostface killer who wants to play a game. She tries to contact Amber for help, but the killer has taken Amber's phone and is stalking her outside her house. And of course she has to answer movie trivia about the Stab movies if she wants Amber to survive. She gets almost all the questions right except the last one, when she's asked who the killer is in the first one. It was not just Billy Loomis, it was Billy and Stu. She then runs out of the house to go to try to save Amber, which was a dumb decision as she gets stabbed by Ghostface. Ghostface then breaks into her house and stabs her multiple times, and they do the classic thing where she gets stabbed into a title card. Oh, I may have forgot to mention that she lives in Woodsboro, because of course she does, but her sister Sam doesn't. She lives in Modesto, California with her boyfriend Richie. I guess her and Tara aren't on the best of terms, but she gets a call from one of Tara's friends, Wes, telling her that she was stabbed, but still alive. We then meet Wes, who turns out is the son of Judy Hicks from Scream 4, who is now the sheriff. The friend group also includes Amber, twins Chad and Mindy Meeks, and Chad's girlfriend Liv. Liv is also being stalked by some creepy guy named Vince who she had a fling with one time. Everyone meets up at the hospital in Tara's room, and Sam stays with her to reconnect while the teens go out to a bar. That Vince guy follows them there, and him and Chad almost get into a fight before they're all kicked out. And as Vince is taking a piss outside, somebody turns on his car. Who could do that? Oh, you guessed it, it's Ghostface who kills him. Back at the hospital, Sam goes to get some food and looks in a mirror to see Billy Loomis? What the fuck? And very coolly, Billy is played by Skeet Ulrich, who played him in the first film. But then ring ring banana phone, it's Ghostface on the line. Oh, and here he is, and he almost gets her before she gets away. I guess Sam has been hiding something from her sister, and this incident has caused her to want to come clean. So I guess she ran out on the family when she was 18, and she reveals why. Turns out she found when she was 13 one of her mom's old diaries, revealing that who she thought was her dad wasn't really her dad. She then confronted her mom with the diary while her dad was right behind her, which caused her dad to leave. And to top it all off, and to tie things in, her real dad is Billy Loomis, which explains why he was in the mirror. Tara is furious that she's choosing to drop all this on her now, which is understandable considering she's in the hospital after being stabbed multiple times, and asks her to get the fuck out. Sam tells Richie that he should probably get the fuck out as well, but he says, no, I'm staying with you, so they decide to get some professional help. That professional help is Dewey Riley, who shut himself off from society and is no longer the sheriff. Dewey gives her the rundown about how she probably shouldn't trust Richie because it's always the boyfriend and how to survive a horror movie, and then she's like, alright Dewey, let's do this together, and he's like, nah, get the fuck out of my house. He then calls Sidney Prescott though to make sure she's safe and make sure she does not come back to Woodsboro, and he tries to call Gail but decides to shoot her a text instead since they're estranged. And Dewey also decides to get the gun back out and go help Sam. They then all meet at the twins' house, and turns out the twins are actually the nephews of Randy Meeks. How about that? Mindy tells them that they're likely all in a requel, which is like a sequel but also a remake. She also determines that Sam is most likely the killer, which causes her to storm out. Meanwhile, Wes heads home to take a shower while his mom Judy goes out to get some sushi. Judy then gets a call from Ghostface though, telling her that her son's about to die. She hurries home and tries to rush through the door, but she's caught at the doorway by Ghostface, who stabs her to death. Meanwhile, Wes gets out of the shower and sets the table, and they do some really good fake scares where he has like the fridge door open and they play the music like someone's gonna jump out, but then it doesn't happen. They do that a couple times and it's really funny. Eventually, Ghostface does jump out as he closes and locks the front door and stabs Wes for the throat, killing him. Sam arrives in the aftermath, and so does Gail Weathers, who is here to cover the story. But she's also here to see Dewey, who she finds on the scene. As they try to reconnect, Sam sees one of the police officers who was supposed to stay at the hospital with her sister, realizing her sister is underprotected. She hurries off to the hospital, and Dewey decides to come with her. Meanwhile, Tara hears some shit and she gets in a wheelchair and tries to wheel off, which sucks because Ghostface had stabbed her through the hand and she has to wheel that damn chair. This poor girl. And she finds that the only officer stationed to protect her was also stabbed to death, so that's not good either. She hides in the back room as there's somebody coming for the door. Oh, and it's just Richie, who she just hit in the head with a phone. She probably should have hit Ghostface, who's right behind him and knocks Richie unconscious. Luckily, Sam and Dewey show up, and Dewey shoots Ghostface multiple times in the chest. They're about to leave, but Dewey remembers that they have to shoot Ghostface in the head, and he goes back while the others escape for the elevator. Unfortunately for Dewey, he fell for the old bulletproof vest trick, and he's stabbed through the back, like he gets his spine and his guts ripped out. It might be the most brutal kill in this entire franchise, which he deserves, because that is finally the end of Dewey Riley. The next day, Tara and Sam are at a different hospital, and Gail is also there, devastated, and then Sidney shows up. Tara, Richie, and Sam have collectively decided to get the fuck out of there, and Sidney tries to persuade them not to, as she's tried before and it doesn't really work. They don't heed her advice though and they leave anyway, but luckily Sidney put a tracker on their car. As they're driving off, Tara goes for her inhaler, which she can't find and needs a spare one, so they go to Amber's house to get it, who's having a house party in honor of Wes. Also, ultra cool Easter egg here, one of the coolest I've ever seen. Chad has a toast to West, and the voices of the people who say to West include Matthew Lillard, Drew Barrymore, Jamie Kennedy, Hayden Panettiere, Henry Winkler, and Adam Brody, all who previously starred in the Scream franchise, as a further tribute to Wes Craven. And everyone at this party is clearly still suspicious of each other as Amber and Mindy try to psych each other out, while Chad pisses off Liv by refusing to have sex with her after he admits he's not sure that she's not the killer. A little while later, Chad has still not gotten a text back from Liv, so he goes outside to look for her. He then gets a find my location request from Liv, and because he's the dumbest character in this entire movie, he accepts it. He then goes to Liv's location, and he's attacked by, wouldn't you fucking know it, Ghostface, who ends up stabbing him, and then again multiple times, presumably killing him. Sam, Tara, and Richie then arrive at the scene, and Richie kicks all the other kids out, ending the party. Liv then re-enters the house and puts herself a little bit higher up the suspect list as she acts kinda psycho to Mindy. Meanwhile, Gail and Sidney, who again have tracked their phone, realize where they've tracked them to, and Sidney calls Sam to tell her that they're at Stu Macher's old house where the original killings took place. Shit then really hits the fan as Ghostface shows up out of nowhere and stabs Mindy, and then everyone else re-enters the room and starts accusing each other. Liv is the last to enter, and she has literal blood on her hands as she found Chad outside, but she insists it's not her. Amber knows for a fact that it's not Liv, as it's actually Amber who shoots Liv in the head. Amber takes Tara hostage, and Sam and Richie escape into the basement. And Richie is like, wait, maybe Tara's the other one, and Sam's like, wait, maybe you're the other one, and points the knife at him and then leaves. Sidney and Gail then show up, and Amber tries to pull a ruse on them, which they don't buy, so Amber shoots Gail in the stomach. Sam, meanwhile, finds Tara tied up in the closet, but then contemplates not cutting her free. Sydney enters the house and gets a call from Ghostface as she keeps shooting through the doors of the house. She eventually hits something, shooting Richie in the knee as he was hiding in one of the rooms. She's been attacked by Ghostface and they both go tumbling over the balcony. Richie goes downstairs to get the gun, but Sam gets it first, which is fine because Richie has a knife, which he uses to stab Sam in the stomach, revealing both him and Amber to be the killers. And they're getting them all in the kitchen now, and oh boy, it's finally time for the motive. I really hope it's better than the Scream 4 motive. And the motive is that they're fans of the Stab film series who met together on Reddit, and because the last couple Stab movies haven't been very good, they wanted to make a better Stab movie for the 9th installment by creating another real life incident. It's not it, right? It's not the whole motive. There's another twist in here, right? No, that's the whole motive? God damn it. Well, shitty motive aside, they end up stabbing Sydney too, so now everybody has a wound, and they go to get Tara so she can get some more. Turns out Tara is not still in the closet, however, as Sam did indeed cut her free. Amber goes to look for her, and Tara finds her first and starts whacking her with the crutch. Sam uses this opportunity to attack Richie and cause him to chase her away. After Amber knocks Tara out, she goes back in the kitchen where Sydney smashes her in the face with hand sanitizer. She fights them back a bit and almost kills Gale, but then Gale knocks her back and shoots her multiple times into a stove which Sydney turned on, and the hand sanitizer burns her face alive, in addition to the gunshots, which is fucking fucked up, holy shit. Meanwhile, Richie and Sam start fighting again upstairs and they go tumbling down said stairs. Richie gets the upper hand until Sam remembers her daddy and then acts just like him, grabbing a knife and then stabbing the ever-living fuck out of Richie. She then slits his throat, which is the end of Richie. Sydney's like, better shoot him in the head though, because they always come back. But after they do that, Amber comes back. How the fuck is she still alive? Well, she's not now, as Tara shoots her in the head. And in the aftermath, the police and ambulance show up, and it's revealed that Chad and Mindy are both still alive. Hey! To end the film, Sam thanks Gale and Sydney for their help, and asks Gale if she's gonna write about it. Gale says she's not gonna write about this, but she's gonna write a tribute to Dewey instead. The ambulances all leave as a news reporter covers the events, as the camera pans out on the house to end the film. Alright, well, with that being said, it's time to pull out our Scream big board and rank this one. And if it wasn't obvious from how I described it, I cannot believe how lame the twist was, or the motive. I can't believe it. This film was so good. It was so good, and then just, ugh. And I know what you're gonna say. Well, in the original movie, that was kind of their motive to make a film. Yeah, but they had motives beyond that. You know, with Sydney's mom fucking Billy's dad, or maybe it was vice versa, one or the other. And there was actual motives beyond just we're Reddit whores and we're gonna make a movie of our own by killing people. Like, I get it, it's up with modern trends, and it's super meta, which is all this franchise is about. I get that, but that doesn't make it not lame, which is so frustrating, because this is a great fucking movie. It's really good. Like, it's really good. It was a great tribute to Wes Craven. It was incredibly acted. Special shout out to the girl that played Tara, Jenna Ortega. She went for a lot, let me tell you. Everyone did so well. The new cast was great. You know, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, David Arquette were all great as well. That twist is just so fucking frustrating because it was so good, but that really took a lot out of it. And because of that twist, while I can easily still rank this over Scream 3 and Scream 4, I can't justify ranking this movie over Scream 2. I just can't do it. So I'm gonna put this in the middle. So my new rankings are as followed. The original Scream, number 1, Scream 2, number 2, Scream 2022, number 3, Scream 4, number 4, and Scream 3, number 5. And if you're wondering if there's gonna be more Scream movies now, actually, yeah, there's one apparently due to come out in about 6 months? It doesn't have a title, but it has a set release date of March 31st, so okay. Oh, and also, I guess they lowballed Neve Campbell, so she will not be returning in the film, so no Sydney in this new one either, which isn't initially promising. I mean, who knows, considering how much they often change scripts, it could be a work. Maybe they're just trying to fake everybody and Sydney's actually in it, or maybe not. But yeah, I mean, I conveyed most of my thoughts there on a big board, but just so frustrated, because it was so good. I enjoyed this film a lot. It's one of the best modern horror sequels I've seen, but that twist was so fucking lame. It was so lame. Everything else was so great, but there was no real motive other than their psycho Reddit people, which I guess is realistic nowadays. But, oh god, that's so frustrating. Because this was on track, maybe to be the best film in the whole franchise, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if they had come up with a really fucking good, really solid twist and really solid motive, this, honest to god, could have been the best film in the whole franchise. It was really on its way, and then that happened, and then it just wasn't. But I guess we'll have to see what Scream 6 has in store for us come March, and I swear to god, if they call that Scream 2 as well, I'm gonna be really pissed off. Seriously, I know I mentioned at the beginning, but this trend of making sequels long after the original film, Halloween did it too, Candyman did it, and not giving it a new title, just calling it the same title as the original film, is really annoying. It's stupid. Either add a 5 to the end, or add some kind of subtitle, like Scream 25 years later or some shit, but don't just call it the same thing. Just don't call it just Scream. There's already a film called Just Scream. It's annoying. But anyway, that's going to do it for my review of Scream 5, calling it that now after the little rant. Thank you, Blade, for using your points on this. I appreciate it. Next week, on Halloween, to end out our horror month, we'll be looking at Halloween 5, which sucks. But that is going to do it for me today. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to leave it a like. If you want to follow any of my social media links, they're all in the video description down below. Thank you to all of my patrons, also named in the video description, for supporting me and all my channels. With all that being said, though, my name is Noah Taff. This has been my review of Scream 5, released just this year. Thank you again, Blade, for using your points, and thank all of you for 800 subscribers on this channel. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.